Well, hello, hi, howdy, and welcome to episode 64 of The Game Case. I am Chris, also known as Cuddles, a Brewmaster Monk on Airy Peak in the Convert to Raid Guild.
And I'm Turt, a Beastmaster Hunter, also on Airy Peak and Convert to Raid Guild.
This week, we're going to talk a little bit about our week in gaming, answer some questions from the Cuddle Crew, and then we're going to talk to an amazing friend, a new father, and the host of the Horde for Life podcast, one of the best huggers in podcasting, I must say, Dustin Turley. Dustin, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing okay, despite, like you said, being a new father. I'm getting a surprisingly large amount of sleep compared to my wife, who is sleeping far less. But anybody who has a child, Chris, I know you do, yeah, those newborns, they can be fussy, which, you get sleep when you can. But it's a great Sunday night here in San Diego, all the way across the other side of the country. And thank you for the compliments on being the best hugger in podcasting. I think I might have to get a shirt made that says something like that on it. But
You
I'm doing good.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, especially with a newborn, to be with us. How was your week of life?
Hectic. My oldest is in a production, a Christian youth theater production of Elf Jr. So a play based on the Will Ferrell movie. So that's interesting. So we had, I know it actually is pretty good though. But it was, I thought the same thing. Like, okay, a play based on a movie that could be interesting. But it's really good. But we've had a hectic week of rehearsals and technical rehearsals and costuming rehearsals, and now we're down with we had 3 shows Friday, 1 yesterday, and 1 today. So it's been a week of insanity. Not to mention my son, who's 10, also has baseball too. So we've got Little League and theater, and then of course we've got a newborn at home. So my week's been full, and then of course we have a lot of WoW stuff happening, and in 2 weeks there's an event in Anaheim. So it's complete insanity.
It is. So it's October, and you guys still have baseball out there going on?
Well, it's
Like, that blew my mind.
yeah, it's like winter ball, fall ball is
Right.
what they call it. So it's like the off-season training kind of stuff, but it's still stuff on the schedule. The calendar is full. That's for sure.
It sounds busy. Oh, wow.
Yes.
T, how about you? How was your week?
Good. Work is crazy. Cubs, they won. They're going to the World Series. I'm
Yes.
excited. Say, go Cubs fans. But yeah, just doing the mom thing, and that's it. And then this is our busy season right now. So lots of drive tests. Very exciting. But Cuddles, what have you been up to?
So I just started driving for a popular rideshare app that I won't mention.
Oh.
But because I don't know if I can, but like I have no idea what their rules are. It rhymes with tuber.
Is it tubular?
Yeah,
There we
it
go.
rhymes with tubular. Without the anyway, I just started. So I've been everything that I'm doing with streaming has really started to catch on. The podcast is doing great. My charity work is going great, and it's just been. It's for those that have listened for a while. It's now like 7.5 months now of unemployment. But I've been very much working towards making a lot of other things happen, including streaming. And it's at that point now where I can go out and I can drive around for a few hours on the weekends, and bills are getting paid, and everything's like I'm just making up a small little gap now, and I'm really really excited about that. And I have if tune in to my streams later this week, because I already have some just ridiculous stories about the people that I've picked up. It's I'm gonna write a book. Like, that's gonna be a thing. I'll a little teaser. My very first pickup was a gentleman that works at a very popular local business that needed a ride from his house to a business. Well, when we got there, he forgot his wallet, so I then had to take him back home. And get his wallet, and then take him back to the business. He was quite possibly extremely inebriated at 8:30 p.m. And the business may have been a massage parlor that allowed you to bring a bottle of wine with you.
Ooh.
So I will not speak as to what goes on in this particular massage parlor. But most reputable massage parlors that I've been to that aren't like a spa in a high-end hotel are generally not BYOB. At least not BYOB Sutter Home. So lots of
grocery store wine. Yeah.
yeah, it was. He literally brought his finest box of wine. It was it got better. That was my very first passenger ever. It got better from there.
Oh, Lord.
But enough about my driving around in a glorified taxi cab. Why don't we dive into what we've been up to this last week within or outside of the Blizzard universe? Dustin, why don't you kick us off? What have you been up to with gaming?
Oh man. Well, so I have been tirelessly trying to, amongst all my other things I have going on, trying to fit in as much Warcraft as I can. And when Blizzard does things like announce that a very large content patch is going to launch like immediately, it kind of makes you want to scramble to get things done, because especially when they're like, hey, we're going to further the Suramar quest line. It's like, well, I haven't even finished what I can do now. Like, you're driving me insane here. I'm really glad that I don't do a type of podcast or a show where I have to like keep up with progression, because no one would listen, because I'd be like, hey, we're raiding Cataclysm now. Let's, we're 6 of 7. So I'm really glad that I don't have to keep up on that kind of stuff. But yeah, I've been scrambling to get that done. I really have I have a to-do list now ever since my newest son is born, of like, okay, I need to get to this, I need to get to this, I need to get to this. And it's like every time I think I have time, that it's just absolutely not true at all. And I have to completely pull myself away. So if I can get a dungeon run done without getting kicked, like there was earlier in the week, I had to it was in the middle of Blackrock Hold, and I had to get up real quick because I had to go change a diaper, and it was like, please don't kick me, I'll be right back, I promise. But they ended up kicking me. It was one of those ones though too where you get back and you're like, okay, they didn't kick me, and then you start like catching up to where they are on the trash mobs, and then all of a sudden you're getting zoned out.
Oh.
You're like, oh, I just missed the vote kick by seconds, and got out. But I mean, it is what it is. I don't blame them. They want to get through the dungeon in a timely manner. So I mean, I'm not irked about it at all. It just is one of those things where it's like, right now it's like world quests are my best friend, because those are things I can do by myself and just go jump in and do, and not have to worry about relying on somebody else or people relying on me. So that's what I'm doing any second that I have.
So actually, let me clarify this. We mentioned the title of your podcast was Horde for Life, and I'm gonna assume that these inconsiderate, possibly filthy people that kicked you so inconsiderately while you were changing your child's diaper, take care of your child's fundamental needs. I just want to confirm that was those players were Horde side.
They were, yes.
Okay, because that doesn't seem like something that would happen on the Alliance side. I'm just saying.
Adding more fuel to that fire. I see.
Well, you had to know. Like, where did I'm an Alliance guy. You had to know what's coming. No, but that's it sounds like a real fun week of WoW, man. What about you, T?
Yeah, I have been doing the WoW thing as well. 'Cause I'm so far behind. Like, I still haven't finished Stormheim and haven't even touched Suramar. I will say though, I hate Stormheim. Like, I love it still. I love Legion. I love everything about it. But Stormheim has been my least favorite.
Oh, it's like that's my number one. Oh, you're killing me.
I love I love the lore. I love the Nordic, but I hate this mountain. I hate it when things are different levels and I don't know what's happening,
yeah.
and I keep dying. So I'm sitting here and I'm just like, I just want this to be done. No, the story's great. The quests are amazing. It's just the zone itself. No. Nope.
Yeah, no,
Not
it makes
doing
you miss flying a lot.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time just diving to my death to get to an
Yeah.
area and then corpse running back to it. Yeah, because it was like I don't want to take the time to find some hidden path down the side of a hill. So I just leap to my death, and then I'll hope that the graveyard's close enough for me to run to it.
That too, there's a flight point. Flight point, that's the furthest south, and I couldn't find the dump path to go up it. And there are these nice little candles, but they blend in pretty well. And there's a horde area right there, and I'm Alliance, so I keep getting flagged PvP. And I was mad. At that point, I was like, oh, I want this level to be done. But completionist in me, I'm close. I'm almost there. And Cuddles will love this. My Pythagorea is really hitting off. I have a couple of people. It's a nerd app. It's geometry. So you have to like find areas of triangles and stuff.
I was just gonna say, does that having to do with Pythagoras? That's funny.
Yes, it does. And there are people in the chat room who are cursing me right now because it is now their life, but it's catching on.
I don't understand how math can be an enjoyable game.
It's puzzles. It's math puzzles, but it is math. Like, yeah. So, but I know Cuddles. I know you'll eventually you might try it, and then
One
you'll hate
day
me.
I'm gonna fall into this. Oh, jeez.
You'll be like on the toilet board, and there's nothing else you can do. So.
Hearthstone.
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
That is why Hearthstone exists.
That's right.
Now that I have gotten my math moment out, what about you, Cuddles? What have you been gaming this week?
So I got my Hearthstone up to rank 12.
Oh, nice.
What?
I've been pushing on through. This month was gonna be the month that I wanted to run to Legend. And I don't know if I'm that good of a player, but I really would like to test that 1 month. And I simply didn't have the time. I'm really, really happy to be at 12. I'll probably push. I'll probably break 10, or I'm at least gonna try to before the end of the month. Although this is kind of crunch time. This is where people start like go, oh crap, I haven't leveled up, and then they get into it again. But outside of Hearthstone, I've done a little bit of. I've finally gotten back into Elite Dangerous. I'm very saddened and embarrassed to say, since Dustin mentioned how he couldn't do a podcast about WoW progression because of his progression in WoW. I can tell you can keep on doing a podcast about World of Warcraft for quite some time, my friend. My main is sitting still at 106. We haven't leveled up past that, and I talked about this last show, and I'm still in the same spot. I don't know what I want to main right now, and I don't want to. I'm much like Dustin and Turarts here, as parents, as people that work and do things. Although my work is streaming video games right now. It's a matter of time, and I don't know if I want to sink the time into something that I don't want to play at 110. Right. So I'm really trying to be careful about it. However, one thing that I did want to talk about and give those in the chat room a first kind of scoop on is starting Tuesday, as soon as the servers come up from the patch, which I know it's going to be an extended maintenance. I'm going to do a 24-hour 0 to 100 leveling stream of a druid.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Wow.
I'm going to run a druid from 0 to 100, or attempt to, in 24 hours.
I was just going to say, that's quite a clock you got to beat.
Well, I have full heirlooms up to, what do they get up to, like 60 or 70 without modifications?
Yeah, I think
60,
so.
60, yeah.
60? Okay, so I have heirlooms up to 60. And I don't have the gold to purchase them past. Well, I probably do, but my gold on that. And we're gonna hang out. We're gonna play some WoW. We're gonna talk a lot about BlizzCon, and I'm gonna have a druid, and I think that's what I'm gonna roll. Although I will say I was extremely disappointed to find out that I could only be Worgen or Night Elf.
Yeah.
On the Alliance side, like who wants to be either one of those things?
Don't diss the Night Elves. Don't diss them.
No. They need to give me Panda Druid. Like, that needs to be a thing. I want to be a bear.
Bear.
I,
That's pretty cool.
I want to be a bear that transforms into a different kind of bear. Like,
A quadruped bear versus a biped bear. Yes.
yes, I want to go. I want to go slightly like less. Oh gosh, the term just totally. What's the term when an animal like looks like a human? It totally just left me.
Anthropomorphic.
There you go. I want to go to from an anthropomorphic bear to a slightly less anthropomorphic bear that still does slightly humany things. But no, we're gonna be doing that on Tuesday as soon as the as soon as maintenance
service
gets
go back
done,
up.
and it should be fun. It should be fun. I may not make it. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, and I mean, choosing a main right now in this particular expansion is a really important choice because, as you know, when we first heard about Legion and saw all the stuff, and even when we jumped on PTR and the beta, it seemed like it was going to be really alt friendly, but it really is not, especially because. So many things hang on reputation this time around. They really chose to like double down on rep, and like I was speaking in the last podcast since we're live, the last podcast I recorded of mine is not out yet, so you're gonna hear it here first before you hear it. Is that there's to even unlock the questing in Suramar, you have to do a series of events to get to that point, and so many people, we've had people write in, and myself included, are kind of irritated to try to have to do that again. Like what we were talking about is we wished it was like Diablo, how when you unlock adventure mode, you unlock it everywhere, so that every character that you then create, you can just jump into adventure mode and start doing these world quests or daily quests. Whereas in WoW, it's like no, you have to unlock it on each tune, and that requires getting your faction rep up to friendly with everybody, including the Nightfallen, which means you got to unlock all the stuff in Suramar. So it's like it's not really an alt-friendly expansion, at least not right now anyway. So choosing a main is a big deal because like that's going to be your guy or girl that you stick with for a while, unless they change something up. It's just like because I came into Legion with 8 different level 100s, and I'm like, okay, let's really hit this thing from the ground running. It's like, no, I've got one guy now. My orc warrior is my guy. Forget, I may never play those other tunes again. So it's kind of crazy. So no, I feel you on that, Chris. Wanting to take your time and choose a main.
Well, and I've talked about it. I've talked about it extensively. I feel like I've talked about it extensively here. Probably just mentioned it, but I made the mistake of downloading Legion treasures, and everyone talks about how quick the leveling experience is to 110. Well, I'll tell you what. Take a healthy dose of OCD and trainer treasures. Mix those two things together, and I guarantee you will not have a quick and easy leveling experience. And so that's where like I pushed all the way up to 106, and I'm very happy. I don't know that I want. I want to like you just explained. I want the character that I'm putting effort into to be the character that I want to put effort into, because it's a little bit too big of a hurdle right now to go back and try to do something entirely else. Because I've never been. I have 3 100s. That's it. I am not an alt. And I think only 2 of them were even mildly raid geared. And raiding is my like that's the part of World of Warcraft that I really enjoy, is in-game raiding. Not that I'm good, but that's the part that I enjoy.
But you like it.
Yeah, my thing. So guys, why don't we go ahead and dive in? We do have one question from this show for this week. Thank you so much to Navox for this one. And Turarts, do you want to read this show?
Yes, I can do that. So long-winded, like you said. I was excited about leveling alts, but I have yet to get a legendary drop for my main tune. I am now a little hesitant about leveling my alts because I would rather get a legendary item on my main. Back in September, Blizzard found an issue and patched said issue regarding legendaries and frequency of drop for those who already had a legendary item. Do you think that would have affected those of us who have collected previous legendary items from different expansions, or do you feel it's limited to Legion only?
Dustin?
That I believe that's a Legion only thing. that like, so if you're holding Thunder Fury, I don't think that it gets mixed into the algorithm at all. If I'm reading that question correctly,
That's how, yeah.
yeah, I think it is a Legion only legendary. Uh, uh, it's geared only to Legion legendaries. So if you're holding on to a Thunder Fury or a Sulfuras or any, even the legendary cape, I don't think you're affected by this at all. Or like legendary ring that we all got back in Warlords. I think if that's still in your bank, I think you're okay. I think this is referring to this one because there was people who were just getting ridiculous drop rates. I think fellow streamer and YouTube enthusiast Elvine, Tom over there, I think he got like 3 or 4 like in the first month, and it was like ridiculous. So no, I think it only is dealing with Legion. I mean, I could be wrong, but that would seem really silly to me if they geared it back for old legendaries that you can't even use.
I agree. Yeah, just because, like you said, we all got the ring, and most of us got the cape. So now you're like, oh, those things that you had to have now are going to negatively impact what you.
Yeah, you better get rid of them. You better sell them. Yeah.
Destroy and delete all the things. I'm totally on board with both of these folks that obviously know way more than me. However, the question, do you think that it would have affected those who are so? Maybe. I mean, that's always possible. That's always a possible thing with a patch that they tagged, that somebody was like, oh, hey, we have this great idea. Let's make it so that if they don't have a legendary, and then like, I have no idea what Blizzard's source code looks like, and what the game is even built. Yeah. But it's like tag legendary,
like,
not from Legion, and like they forgot that one little and that's. I mean, that's the beauty of writing code, guys. You forget like one comma, one like thing. I don't know, maybe.
It's happened. Weirder things have happened. I mean, like I said, indeed. Forget to put a tag in there that says, greater than I level 750 or something, and then it just does a whole thing across the board.
Yeah. Hearthstone this week. There was actually with the Hearthstone update on Tuesday, there was a post out. I believe it was either Hearthpwn or one of the other like big Wowhead-esque Hearthstone sites that had posted like there's been this big change that they didn't even mention, that now only a 2-win streak, 2 wins counts for a win streak instead of 3. This is obviously there to aid players as they rank up and come back to the game. And then like an hour later, Hearthstone was like, I think it was Ben Brode was like, yeah, no, that was a mistake. We're trying to fix that. We don't know what happened. I mean, that's the thing, especially with, and I mean, you see that with Hearthstone, a game that's what, 3-4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
If
God, is that old already? Jeez.
I think it's getting that old.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right.
Look at World of Warcraft. We're creeping up on what, 12 years, 11 years,
12.
We're creeping up on 12 years. You have to imagine there's guys there writing code that have no idea what like the original. Yeah, right. If you've ever been involved in like programming anything, there's a lot of different ways that things can be done, and there's definitely people there that have no idea what the guy thought about doing something. So I only say that to very long-windedly answer your long-winded question. Maybe. But I mean, who knows? And if it was unintentionally doing that, like, trust that there'll be a hot fix for that. If there,
but like, unfortunately, like the person who wrote in, for them, you won't necessarily know, because until you get one, because it's kind of a vague thing. It's not cut or dry, right? So like, they're hanging on to their legendary ring, and they're like, I'm not getting a legendary drop from Legion, so my only conclusion is that I need to get rid of this ring, because you don't know, like you said, you don't have access to the source code. You can't just look at it and go, oh yeah, by the way, right there, you see it? Right there,
and it's like buying lightning, like putting lightning rods on top of your house, like to prevent lightning from hitting your house. Do you ever know that lightning just didn't hit your house, or do you ever know that the lightning rods are actually like, you don't know, you have no idea. Yeah, here you go, take these magic beans and you'll get rich. Also, those are for sale on thegamecase.com.
Yes, they are.
Four magic beans for $32.99 shipped directly to your house. Also, some swampland here in Florida for sale. and some backstage Con Before the Storm passes. Sure. What I'm selling the freshest tickets to Con Before the Storm.
That's
just
right.
reach out. Well, guys, that was fun. Navox, thank you so much for that question. Guys, remember, if you're wondering how you can ask a question and get it answered right here on the show, you're going to go to bit.ly/Cuddles Discord. Jump into the questions for the show channel. Everybody knows how to work Discord by now. Jump into the one that's obviously for questions for the show. Ask your question, and we'll answer it right here on the show. Just like the name of the chat. Anyway, that was fun. Why don't we jump right into the meat and potatoes? Dustin, tell us a little bit about you.
As we know, what are we, only 20 minutes into this thing? We've already disclosed that I have 3 children.
Mhm.
One of them is a newborn. I am a host on the Horde for Life podcast. You can find that, of course, on all the various audio podcast formats. And after many months of me beating it into our main host, Rich, we're finally on Google Play. So if you use Google Play, you can download our podcast. You can find everything, of course, on hordeforlife.com. But we've been doing that show, I think, Rich started it, and I've been a part of that show since, I want to say, it was early 2011. So it's been a while. Before that, I hosted my own tech podcast, and then I got into doing other things on other networks, and it was kind of a thing where I listened to some WoW podcasts, and I said, man, I have a lot of things to say about this. I want to have a discussion with these people. And so it was kind of just through a series of emails and tweets and stuff. And I said, you know what? I would love to come on your show, Rich. And then he said, hey, maybe we can have you on again. And then it was just turned into a regular thing. But gosh, I've been playing WoW since beta. And I even got it's funny because last year? Maybe the year
32
before.
minutes and 34 seconds for those playing the drinking game at home. Sorry, go ahead.
I received the little statue thing that Blizzard sent out for playing for 10 years and like consecutively like paying your sub for 10 years straight. And it was funny because I showed it to my wife and I go, hey, look at this. This is really cool. They sent me the statue. And she goes, isn't that just a sign that you paid a lot of money for a long period of time? And it's like, I guess it is, but it's still kind of cool. I want to feel like it's an award, but it really is just that I was able to pay my bills for 10 years straight. So yeah, I've been playing the game for a long time, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I have a lot of things that miff me about the game now versus the way it was. I have obviously I love a lot of the things now, but I think it kind of makes me like a little bit curmudgeon-y at times. Because like I'm on my porch shaking my hickory cane, at people going, oh, they have no idea what it used to be like. And then when you hear things and you say, oh, that's stupid and that's silly, and people say, what are you talking about? That's how it should be. So yeah, so I don't know if it's a good thing. It could be a good thing, but I think it hinders me too, in the same way that I, every once in a while I'm a little nostalgic about how things used to be, how classes and race combinations used to mean something.
They did. Oh God, they did.
What do you mean? What do you mean a human hunter? That's ridiculous. So, that's my history in WoW. And like I said, I've been podcasting since probably, I think it was like late 2010 is when I first started, and been moving around show to show, and here we are now. And I was able to meet Cuddles last year as we were on a panel with Ro at Con Before the Storm, and then I believe I did a quick little spot on your stream during the CTR party 2 nights after that, which was a blast. And it's so funny because I've been to a bunch of BlizzCons, and I think the best part of BlizzCon isn't even the show itself, but it's everything extra. It's all these parties that we go to and hanging out in the lobby of the Hilton and all. That's the best part of BlizzCon. Forget it. Forget the actual stuff in the convention center, but the actual hanging out with people like yourself and other podcasters and other streamers that you only really talk to through Twitter or whatever all year long, and then you get to meet up. Which I know your schedule was crazy, but you were down here in my neck of the woods for TwitchCon. We so needed, like, I was seeing your tweets and I'm like, dude, like, let's grab lunch or a coffee or something. You're like 20 minutes away. and you're like, forget you, man. I'm too busy.
So
2 weeks now.
this is now 2 weeks in a row.
Weeks?
Officially, I'm not sure who our guest is next week, but it will not be someone from San Diego that I totally
Kevin
snubbed.
gave you the third degree too.
Well, so Kevin was evidently only like 3 miles away from where I was.
Because Kevin is a San Diego police officer, so that's his beat, that area. So like he literally could have stopped by.
I'm surprised I didn't get that. Actually, would have been perfect if he could have somehow figured out where I was staying and pounded on the door. And the entire house, because we had like 8 people in a house. And that would have been absolutely epic. But no, it was a whirlwind, man. And I will be seeing you very, very soon. We'll have a cup of coffee. And
well, I don't blame you. I know it's hard to do anything when you're at a convention. It's hard to do anything but stuff at the convention. It's not like, people go to Anaheim for BlizzCon. It's not like we're cruising over to Disneyland every other hour, and that's right next door. So yeah, no, I get it. I'm just giving you a hard time.
No, and deservedly so. And I would have absolutely. And there was several opportunities. I even have friends outside of the gaming world that were there, and I had several opportunities that I could have squeezed something in, and I took a step back, and hopefully those that I did not see will not take this poorly. But I was like, I flew to the other side of the country to come to TwitchCon and to do TwitchCon things. And with you, had it not been for Anaheim, I think I would have made a heck of a lot more effort to see my friends from World of Warcraft. But like, I'm gonna see you guys next week. We're cool.
Yeah, we're all right.
We'll hug. We'll hang out. But since you mentioned Well Played Party, I would be utterly remiss as the host of the live stream with our head event poobah of I don't know your real title. What is it, T?
I don't either. We make it up.
Okay, cool.
Department head.
Would you be willing to stop by on Friday night and come make another appearance on our stream and maybe let some of our people say hi to the wonderful Horde for Life star?
Absolutely, star. Yeah, absolutely.
Letting Jules know she can put this on a schedule. Done.
There you go. So you've been doing how are you feeling right now about BlizzCon? Like where's the hype level? Like are you slowly building? Are you just changing diapers to get through the day to day? And all of a sudden you'll be there?
Right, exactly. It's kind of like that, I think, because I'll jump on Twitter and see, oh God, that's right. That's like right around the corner. Like it's like I keep forgetting about it because I have so many other things going on. But it's like, oh, that's right. I gotta set that up and do that. Like it's one of those things right now where so many things are happening at once that I feel like I am going to completely forget about it until I remember that, oh yeah, I got to drive up today. Like it's a good thing that Anaheim is so close to me, because if it wasn't, I'd like totally like if I was like you in Florida, I'd be missing flights. Like there's no way. I'd be like, oh God, that's right. I got to go get on a plane. No, at least it's only an hour and 20 minutes from here. So that's not that bad. I can do a last minute thing for that. But
is it okay? Completely off topic and nothing that anyone. Is it really only an hour and 20 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm flying into John Wayne, and I want to swing by San Clemente before I go to Anaheim. And I didn't know realistically what I'm looking at drive time. And that San Clemente is like just north of the Marine base right there.
Pendleton.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, San Clemente. That's like the old Richard Nixon's old stomping grounds. That's
why I go there.
That's only like I want to say about 40 minutes from my house.
Ooh. Okay, I got to stop there and get a burger. They have the best burgers on the face of the planet. Like hands down, bar none. I'm renting a car just so I can go get a burger in San Clemente. And then I have a friend in Garden Grove that I'll be stopping on the way up to Anaheim or around to go eat it In-N-Out.
Yeah.
So
nice.
All the burgers.
Yeah.
It's
In-N-Out is
horrible.
fantastic.
Yeah. It's gonna be a great day. So what you're doing a World of Warcraft panel on Combo Before the Storm. Tell me a little bit about that. You guys got it all planned out? You know what you're talking about? What's going on?
That's really funny. So there's a Slack group that we're all a part of. I think Dave Seraphis created Slack channels for everybody, like every little group. So I'm sure yours has one too. Maybe yours has one too. I don't know. But I know I've got a little private Slack channel for the Warcraft panel. The face you're making is hilarious.
I'm now checking Slack.
So, so, so we've got this little discussion going, which isn't much of a discussion. Our host or moderator rather is Bay, Final Boss from Final Boss TV. He is moderating our panel. And we've got some discussion topics, but it's a 50-minute panel. And I would say that, I mean, we're best case, we are moderately prepared. But you know what though? I mean, the way we're doing this right now, this organic conversation, and the way our podcast is structured, I do much better if we're just riffing, like on the fly. Like, give me a question, I'll just go with it. I feel if I over rehearse, then things are that they seem over rehearsed, and that's never good. So honestly, as far as I'm concerned, I can just show up and start answering questions. So but I know not every other host is like that, and I'm sure there's some people on our panel that get a little anxious and have a little anxiety-ridden incidents when they aren't overly informed about what's going to happen. But there's no gotcha question that you're going to be able to give me. So I'll just go with the flow. But I think there are some people in our Slack channel that feel otherwise. But I'm ready to go. I'm just stoked.
I will say, as a spectator, going on the fly is definitely more fun to watch than the planned out, because you can tell they're sitting there like, wait, what am I supposed to say next? Or
Right.
What was my answer?
Fine.
I completely forgot.
Yeah.
Those are definitely better to watch. But so, okay, we've talked about Calm Before the Storm a little bit. You're obviously excited for BlizzCon. Now, you've said you've been playing since beta, so I do have a question. We're a little bit into Legion now. How does it rank as far as expansion drops go? Is it one of the better ones? Is it,
Oh, if we're just doing this pass fail, oh yeah, it's one of the better ones for sure.
Warlords.
Oh yeah, it's much better than Warlords. I almost feel like it was on purpose. Warlords was a little bit of a tank for them, just so Legion would seem so much better. But it's funny. It's one of those situations where it's bittersweet, because I feel like Legion is an expansion that is everything I've ever wanted, like in one package. But then it's like really too much. Like I'm like, this is too much to do. Like they made professions kind of fun again, and they got these world quest things now, and now we've got and it's like, but man, I didn't want that all at once. Like pace it out. Like give me world quest and Legion. The next expansion you can make it all about professions. But it's like I have my quest log is so full of things to do that it's just like I don't even know where to start. Sometimes I log in and just go, no, not today. And then just back away because it's just way too much to do. But to answer your question again more directly, it's in the top couple of expansions, just because of it felt like, especially when they made the announcement at Gamescom, it felt like they were going on a checklist of things that the players wanted, and there was like, yep. Oh, no more PvP gear, no problem. We have kind of a prestige system, awesome. Like it's like, what? Like you just took everything that for years you said we can't do that, we can't make that work, we can't make it work. And you said, you know what? Fine, just give it to him. And it's like your head explodes, like that old sci-fi movie Scanners years ago. I can't. Did
you just call it Scanners?
Yeah, I did.
I love you.
Scanners. So. It's one of the better expansions for sure. But I hesitate to call it the best, because then people really take you to task on that one. But it's definitely in the top half.
Good. Well, let's put the word best aside. What's your favorite expansion? Obviously not Warlords.
My favorite expansion is probably, and this is kind of it's kind of a cookie cutter answer, but it does have to do with just my experiences, is Wrath of the Lich King. And the reason it's my favorite is not necessarily even because of the content or what it was even about, but it was that was the expansion I was, and it was just like the perfect time in my life too, where I was at the point where I could give it enough time. And I was able to participate in raids and participate in dungeons with the same group of people, with our guild, over and over. And it was those experiences and those, 2 a.m. Marrogar 17th wipe fights that it's like those kind of memories stick with you for a long time, and that's really what it leads, to be my favorite, because of the experiences, not because of the content. Because Trial of the Crusader was kind of crap, right? But it still was. I still love doing that content with friends, and with people that I enjoy playing games with. So, and then it kind of, as the expansions got more and more, I got less and less free time, and less I could commit to fewer raids and fewer guild events. So it kind of, dwindled off. So Wrath is my favorite purely for the experiences and the memories.
Wow. Now I can say definitively, I'm going to argue against both of you guys. Warlords of Draenor was in my top 2 expansions that I've ever played.
Wow. You are definitely in the minority amongst
he's only
the community.
played 2 expansions.
Oh, I see. I
started playing in Warlords. So it's kind of it's funny though, because I hear this constantly and consistently, kind of across the board, that nobody really loved WoD, and that was when I fell in love with Warcraft, and I wonder what my life would have been like had I started playing. Like, would I still have friends? Would I be married?
So I mean, it was. I mean, if that was your first expansion, that makes perfect sense, because the game was still the game. I mean, it still had all of its elements from the previous expansion. So of course that you would fall in love with it. But I think players that looked at that and went, "Wow!" and it almost it felt, again, like I said earlier, it felt like a setup expansion. Like, okay, we're laying the groundwork story wise for the next one that's going to be awesome. So no, I that's funny, but I totally get it. Like, I mean, if you
here's a question that I want to interject, is because you just nailed on something that I've been very curious about. WoD is a setup expansion. Legion is what we all wanted. It dinged all the tick boxes. Everyone's happy. Everyone, for the most part, is literally like just like dancing on the clouds. Complaints are starting to come out, as they will. Like, oh, I can't do all my ults, so I can't do this. Some of the luster is wearing off because we're gamers and we're never happy with anything.
Never satisfied. Right?
What's next? Now that they've checked all the boxes, where do they go from here?
Okay, so we've had a lot of discussion about this, and it's kind of a thing where I'm in a certain camp on our podcast and my co-hosts are not. So strictly from a business standpoint, if you just look at Blizzard as a business and you look at World of Warcraft as a revenue stream, there is absolutely no reason for them to stop anything that they're doing, because they're making money. This is making them money. And there was we don't know it, Chilton was misquoted in a German publication that there was 10.1 million subscribers, but there definitely was some kind of uptick. There had to be, right? Yeah. So they're making more money than they did before the launch of this. So business wise, it makes no sense to stop. Keep going, keep the train running, keep the stream coming in. However, if you look at it strictly from, like you said, they're ticking all the boxes. We are going up against the greatest evil in the Warcraft universe. There's like nothing bigger than Sargeras and the Legion
that we know
of, right? That has been written anyway so far. Yeah. And on top of that, we're having all these callbacks to Illidan and Ysera, and all this stuff is coming back. If you are writing a television series, an episodic television series, this is how you wrap it up. Is you do all these callbacks from all the old story and make everybody feel all nostalgic, and all the feels are coming in and all this stuff. That's how you end a series, is with that stuff. So everything story-wise feels like this is the end. Like, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to end the Legion and be done. Now, my co-hosts have argued, no. What's going to happen is we'll defeat Gul'dan at the end of this, and then we'll go off-world. That'll be the next one. We're going to go off-world. We're going to take the fight to Sargeras. Okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting idea. However, again, like I said, it feels like this is it story-wise. But then again, the business part of my brain says that doesn't make any sense. They shouldn't stop this. They're making a lot of money. So I'm kind of conflicted, and I don't really fully know the answer to that question of where do we go from here, because I don't know. It's really exciting to watch, and if, like I said, I'm feeling very overwhelmed with what's in the game right now and too many things to do. But at the same time, I want to play it because it feels like a book I can't put down. Like I want to see what happens next. I need to know what happens next because like I can't. It's funny. It's like I don't want things to end, but I can't wait to the last expansion till we fight Gul'dan and find out what happens. What's the end chapter to this thing? But it'll be interesting to see. And I guess we just have to put our faith in Blizzard that they know what they're doing.
See, and here's the thing that gets me is you like nailed all like 90% of my thoughts right on the head. Like this feels like the closing season of an HBO series, a
Right.
well thought out and well put together, and not going to jump the shark and run on for 8 more years.
Mhm.
However, even Blizzard, I mean, their low with WoD was what, around 3.4 million. I think we found out.
Yeah. Right.
There are so many MMOs out there, the WildStar, that would love to have 3.4 million.
We're talking
Like,
about that like
three-
the end of the world.
Yeah.
Like what?
3.4 million subs is a wildly successful MMO measured by any standards but Blizzard's. And I think there's 3 options. One, Blizzard has something up our hat that we're not thinking of. Like going to another world, something crazy happening. I don't know, the Titans and the Void Lords and everybody binds together and we have to fight. Like, I don't know. They end it or they milk it. And I think the least likely option is that they milk it.
Right.
I think if it's time to wrap it, I see them going the way of the, the Sopranos or the horribly disappointing Dexter finale. Or like these shows that said we're going to be this length of time, which Blizzard never said that, but if there's an end of this story, we've heard that maybe there's a big announcement coming at BlizzCon, there's going to be a big announcement. What if it was Warcraft like 2.0?
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Again, you're hearing it here first because our show's not out yet. But that's what Rich, our main host, that was his theory based on the Chilton move. He said, okay, so Tom Chilton's not leaving Blizzard. He's moving to a different project. And his theory, his tinfoil hat theory, is he's working on the next step for Warcraft. It is a complete redesign, new engine, new everything. Here we go, updated game that now you're all going to have to buy new video cards and chipsets because the computer's not going to run it.
That laptop from 2008 is now obsolete.
Oh, don't
That's
miss my
right.
laptop.
So that's a very interesting theory, and I think one that, as of right now, at least up until BlizzCon, it could get some traction.
Yeah, I like the theory of Diablo 4. I also like that at some point. I mean, there's what we just said. I mean, there's an amount of subs on the business side. Why do you shutter it? But then
Exactly.
on the side of being the studio behind the most successful MMO ever, hands down, bar none, do you just go, you know what, we're done, and we're gonna do this over, and and then is it Azeroth? Is it
Right?
Is it something entirely new? Do they introduce us to a new universe? I don't. It's as Draven said. In the end, we may all serve the Legion. I don't know.
We could.
Maybe that's how it all starts out. We're just all part of the Legion.
Right. We just go from world to world, devouring people. Yeah.
There you go.
Actually, be a fun game. T, you got anything else for Dustin?
Well, okay, so not the last podcast because it's not out yet.
Right.
But the podcast before that, you had mentioned that we never really kill the Legion. They just go into the ether.
Right.
Do you think it's a possibility that we could go in there and
That's what
actually,
yes.
take on some of these guys?
So I would that'd be awesome. And or as well as just going like the Demon Hunter starting area is on the Demon World, and it's escaping me the name of it right now. I'm sure people in chat will throw it in there. There it is. So yeah,
Yes.
So we could go there. We could go take the fight to the demons and really for the first time eradicate them for real. Like the scene right before the end of the opening Broken Isles cinematic where he just keeps spawning these demons, and they're all these named demons that you've seen before. That's because they don't ever die. They're just in the ether. But yeah, if we could take a fight to them in, like I said, either in the ether or in the in the void or wherever it is, or on the demon world, and really just completely destroy the Legion for real, I think that'd be rad. And I think you could write it in a way, since we're getting the Pillars of Creation right now.
Yes.
We found out that Azeroth itself is actually a Titan. If we could like find a way to harness the power of a Titan in that way, because I mean, really, how do you kill Sargeras? How do you kill a Titan, right? How do you create someone who, or kill someone who really created you, essentially, or has the power to create you? Well, maybe you then harness the power of this only other living Titan that we know about to take out Sargeras. Maybe. I think that'd be really cool and a really cool idea, and I'm all game for that.
See, that's. Oh, you can go on, Cuddles.
I was gonna say, can I totally strap on a incredibly wild tinfoil hat here?
Go ahead.
We know that Azeroth is a Titan.
Yes.
We know that patch 7.1 is about to drop. Now, 7.1, if you take 7 and minus 1 and then divide it by 2, you get the number 3, which is 3 sides of an equilateral triangle, which is the same as the symbol of the Illuminati. Now, Titanfall 2 is about to drop. What if patch 7.1 of World of Warcraft just turns it into a trailer for Titanfall 2, and we learn that Sargeras the entire time was a Titan, and we're just now playing Titanfall 2. No.
And then at the same time, it's a business announcement of Activision Blizzard acquiring Ubisoft.
There you
Boom.
go.
Done.
Oh my gosh, can we get rid of Ubisoft's absolutely horrible? Can we get rid of Uplay?
Uplay, Unity,
the one thing that would be exciting about that is if Uplay would go away. It's now all on BattleNet. I'm sorry, I totally cut you off, T. You had an actual relevant and cogent question for our guest.
No, I was just gonna comment off there that like it does feel like the end, like you said, we have all these checklists, but I think it's more maybe we're reaching the end of the Legion and going on to something else.
Right. The end of this chapter.
Yes,
yeah.
Because, and again, I'm not that far in the expansion compared to other people. Jaina left pretty miffed, and I don't know if she's come back. And I haven't noticed that yet. Because again, not very far. But there's definitely some stuff there that I'm like, okay, let's go. What's happening here? Or like with Raytheon, like he just kind of left.
Right.
And
he's
I'm
just
like,
gone.
Where's he at? Like I had to do all this stupid stuff for a cloak, and
now he's
what's
gone.
going on?
Yeah, and Jaina, I don't know. There was some people that noticed that during that whole scene where she kind of just leaves Dalaran and is just irritated and pissed at everybody. Everybody else has normal amounts of health, and her character has like boss health. Mm-hmm. So that's an interesting idea too. We could be having to fight Jaina soon.
That was when that interaction happened, the first thing I said, I'm like, she's a boss. This is gonna happen. But
Jaina's
I think
Dreadlord.
it's a chapter. It's a chapter. That's an optimist in me, though.
That is an optimistic view, but it could be.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's funny. We all sit here and we all have our own opinions. Mine as crazy as they are, but it's one of those things where when was the last time any of us with our opinions created the most successful MMO ever? Like Blizzard has this in hand. Some people have left.
Right.
We mentioned this last week. Like Metzen walked away. Not to downplay it all, and not even to pretend like I understand all of his contributions, but Blizzard is not the house of Chris Metzen.
No,
they will survive. They are okay. And if they want to continue making this game, I think it's going to be great.
Oh yeah, no, I think we all trust in Blizzard. They'll make the decision that one is good for their business, but two, they've always been very good to their player base. They haven't really ever done anything to burn any bridges or irritate anyone. They're not EA, right? So they're they're not really out there trying to destroy a player base. They want to make us happy too. So I think that's why, again, back to the business part of it, I think them just cutting it off and killing it that really would be a bad idea for many reasons. So, I mean, I'm all for the optimistic viewpoints. But like you said, I've never created a multi-million subscriber game ever. So I don't know even the ins and outs of it. And they do. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Right on. Well, I think that is going to take us to the time of the show where we do a few shout outs. Dustin, do you have any shout outs?
Yeah, I just want to again, and I know you do it plenty of times as well, but I just want to keep pimping the Calm Before the Storm. It's an awesome event. The Dave and Zia and all those guys put on a great show, and it's come a long way since our first days at the Red Lion Hotel in that little conference room with one table and a couple of microphones. So it is an amazing show. You owe it to yourself if you are going to be in the Anaheim area or you are going to BlizzCon to show up to this thing. It is a phenomenal time, and it is completely blown up. And honestly, ever since the last couple of years, I'm actually extremely honored that I'm even considered to be a part of it because it seems like it's so much bigger than anything I have ever contributed to. I almost feel like, do I need like like you said, a backstage pass? Do I need like some kind of special like badge to get into this thing? Because it has completely blown up, and like I said, I'm totally stoked. Like even the little grab bags they did with the little logos, I think your logo's on there, and it's like little buttons. Like that's crazy. Like I never thought that'd be something, something that I have been a part of or helped create is going to be part of a grab bag or a goodie bag. And you go to these things and it's kind of crazy because you show up and people want to like meet you and say hi, and you're like, what? I'm just some stupid schmuck with a microphone. Like I'm nobody. But it's a complete blast, and everybody shows up for this thing. So you owe it to yourself to show up to Calm Before the Storm. It is awesome.
Right on. How about you, T?
Shout out to my event staff. We are, if you're in Convert to Raid Guild, we're finally back in our groove. So you should see some relevant events popping up on the calendar. Really excited to be back in the swing of things. And to kind of play off of Dustin, shout out to the Well Played Party, guys. We are less than 2 weeks away from that amazing party. There has been so much work going into it and still going into it as we're down to this crunch time. And if you can't make it to BlizzCon, come hang out with me. I will be in the live stream all night, drinking wine, having fun, hosting stuff, and we have some pretty awesome prizes to give out too for those who can't make it. So shout out to them, hug them if you're going. Jules, especially, she has worked her butt off for this. And that brings us, I think, to you, Cuddles.
Right on. Well, first and foremost, huge thank you for Dustin. This has been a little under a year in the making to get him on this show.
Schedules being what they are, yes.
Yeah, that's what I was Thursday nights, which worked out horribly for him, and I'm very glad that we finally got you on the show, man. It's great to see you. I can't wait to see you in like a week and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, what is it? It's Sunday. Oh my gosh. It's it's just about to happen. Huge shout out to everyone that's working on Calm Before the Storm. Much like Dustin, I am utterly blown away that I'm actually a part of it, and then even more blown away if you look at the folks if you go to calmbeforethestorm.com, look at the folks that are on the panel with me. I'm like, why am I here?
Yeah.
I appreciate they included me, but these are like some podcasting giants. Additionally, the Well Played Party. For those that will be watching the Well Played Party from home, Friday night, I will be hosting a live stream. Torarch will obviously be helping out with that. We are not too late, guys. I'm going to post this show with one last minute call. Hashtag get Torarch to BlizzCon. She has the time off. She can be there if somebody has airline miles. Somebody wants to be an angel benefactor. Let's get her there. I would absolutely love to have Torarch sitting next to me rather than calling her via Skype. But that's going to be a whole lot of fun. And guys, do not forget, Tuesday, if anybody wants to come and join the fun, the craziness of trying to race 0 to 100, I'll be doing that on my channel as soon as servers come up. So guys, this brings us to a very important moment of the show, a magical moment, some might say. It's where I get down on my virtual knees and I beg and I plead with you to leave those all-important 5-star iTunes reviews. Guys, I want you to leave 5-star reviews for the Game Case Show and 2 stars for We're Shutting WoW Down and we're turning it into a Facebook game. The podcast from Blizzard employees who are part of a very small faction that wants to turn World of Warcraft into a Facebook game. That's 2 stars for WoW the Facebook game, 5 stars for the Game Case Show. Dustin, where can people find you on the internet?
You can send me emails. I love email. It's very easy. It follows me everywhere. My email address is dustin@hordeforlife.com. And of course, you can find me on Twitter all the time, whether you love me or hate me. My Twitter handle is @dturley. Turley is spelled like turkey. Just replace the K with an L.
And T, what about you?
I am on Twitter and in Discord at Turarts. I'm going to have to set up an email because the current one I have is for the guild. So we'll talk about that next time.
Woo! So
And cuddles.
that is going to do it for episode 64. If you'd like to join our live audience and hang out in the chat room, come join us on twitch.tv/thegamecase at 10 p.m. Eastern each and every Sunday night. You'll also find me here Monday through Friday in the mornings and in the evenings, streaming and laughing with the chat room. Thank you so much for listening to episode 64 of The Game Case. You can find me on Twitter at The Game Case. You can find the show at The Game Case Show. You can download us on iTunes, Stitcher, and the oft-talked about, although I'm not sure that anyone uses it, Google Play. Catch recordings of the live show or all sorts of fun videos on youtube.com/thegamecase, or find all of the things on the official site of The Game Case Show, thegamecase.com. Guys, that's going to do it for this week. Tour Arts Dustin, say bye.
Bye.
Game Case out.
Thank you for joining us this week inside The Game Case. Please join us next week for more news, tips, and ramblings about the World of Warcraft. Game Case out.